Well, welcome back, everyone. As we mentioned, March Madness arriving about 3 weeks early this year. And for the first time in 8 years, the top 4 ranked teams in the AP poll all lost in the same week. Last time that happened, 2003. KU, Texas, Ohio State, Pittsburgh. From a prestige standpoint, this was not a real good week for the Big 12 Conference. The league twice blew a #1 ranking in the polls. KU embarrassed badly on Big Monday, getting blown out at K-State. Then Texas, with a chance to move up to the top, laid an egg at Nebraska this weekend. This conference cannot stand prosperity. The coaches lobbying for 7 teams to make the NCAA field. That is a joke. 4 deserve it. 5 will probably get in, maybe 6. After all, they can't take all 16 teams from the Big East, can they? Why not? KU is still alive for a #1 seed in the big tournament. The remaining league schedule is definitely in the Hawks' favor. They get Oklahoma State at home tomorrow night. Only one dangerous game left on this KU schedule in 2 weeks at Missouri.
We've got life. I mean, as far as the league race, I mean, of course, we'd have to, no question, we'd have to win out and that kind of stuff. But nobody's out of it yet. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm glad Nebraska won. We still got a lot of work to do. We need to worry about ourselves and not worry about what everybody else is doing.
We didn't expect Texas to lose to Nebraska, and, you know, they got one. Now we need them to lose another one, you know, and if they don't, you know, it doesn't matter. We're not going to stop, you know, trying to get better every day.
Well, the coach is not the only guy that was happy to see Texas lose, huh?
Yeah.
You're not a burn orange guy, are you? That type of guy?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm sort of glad to see Longhorns lose.
So what's going to happen here, buddy? We're going to have some new stuff here, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a new switch up at the top. I think you're going to see Duke. Now, this is my top 5. Okay, I think you're going to see Duke from the ACC rise from #5 to #1. Okay, the only team that didn't lose this week. They're playing great basketball. They've lost 2 games this year, Jack, both on the road. One at St. John's early. Right now, you see St. John's. They're beating everybody in Madison Square Garden. The other one was to Florida State. #2, I've got the University of Kansas. They had tons of points last week. I don't think they're going to fall too far because they had a chance to make up for the Kansas State loss. Pittsburgh lost at St. John's. That's not too shabby because St. John's is really good at home. And then you see San Diego State and BYU. Both top 5 RPI teams. They play against each other on Saturday. San Diego State's only loss this year was at BYU. They'll have a chance to avenge that.
I like both of those Mountain West teams. I really do. I don't like Pittsburgh in there at all. I don't know where Texas is. I think Texas is still Texas. You know, you've heard of them before?
You
heard of them
you
before?
Mean your favorite
Here's
team
my
in the
top
Big
5 right here. I got San Diego State just jumping over everybody.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, now, look
at that.
No. Now, wait a minute. If you're going to let Duke go from 5 to 1, I mean, San Diego State's got a better RPI than Duke. I think 3 RPI to Duke's 6 RPI. They've lost only 1 game. I still got to keep Texas in there. And the only reason they're ahead of Kansas, 74-63 on January 22nd. So they stay there. They stay ahead of them. And Ohio State, #5. But you know what, Frank? When I look at this thing, there isn't a clear-cut #1 team in the nation anymore, is there?
No, there isn't. And the thing is, everybody says that every year, Jack, and everybody says, wow, it's one of those years they don't have a clear-cut #1 team. I don't think there's been a clear-cut #1 team probably for about 4 or 5 years. A lot of it has to do with the fact kids are one-and-dones. They play 1 year and they go. So you don't have these teams accumulating these players, these upper-class players coming back to play year after year. You get one-and-dones. I think that guy, Mike Krzyzewski's done a great job. He's winning all these games, Jack, without his best player. Kyrie Irving still sitting on the bench, hurt, might not be back until the NCAA tournament. He still somehow gets his team to win week in, week out.
Yeah, they really did. They ran away tonight from Georgia Tech. I don't know what the game ended up. It was close for a little while, and then they just blew them out. All right, let's talk about Texas. How about this Nebraska thing? Now, you know, I heard some people say, oh, man, Texas lost to Nebraska. Remember, Nebraska had a 3-point game with KU at Allen Fieldhouse. This is a good little team, isn't it?
Yeah, well, and here's the deal about Nebraska. Teams like Nebraska, you have teams now in the Big 12. You've got a few teams here these next 3 weeks. There's only 2 games separating the 5th place from the 10th place. You've got some great games. You've got to watch out for Nebraska and Colorado, Jack. You have 4 teams. Kansas State, Baylor, Nebraska, and Colorado could all end up 8-8. Remember, Kansas State has lost twice to Colorado this year. That is not good.
All right, you've got 3 teams in the top 10 right now with 6 or 7 losses. I mean, it's unbelievable, and a lot of that's because of the Big East. So you really can't put a loss figure to say, well, you're not going to get in the tournament. St. John's got 9 losses, and look at all the great wins they've got. Now, I want to ask you, where's Nebraska? Does Nebraska have a shot here?
They have a shot if they can get to, if they go.
They have to win them all, or what?
No, I think they have to go 8-8. I think they really have to go 8-8 because they have a pretty tough schedule coming down the stretch here. If they can go 8-8 with that schedule, Jack, I think they're going to get a look from the NCAA committee.
Well, they got a 63 RPI right now. That's not very good. That's not going to get you in.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible, and they can really make up some ground on the RPI with some wins coming down the stretch.
Have you checked their strength of schedule?
Yeah, strength of schedule is not good.
It's really bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's like 80, something like that.
Right.
So now are we going to get 6 teams? Everybody, I think 5 teams should be it, but probably we'll get 6, do you think?
That's what's scary about this. You have the 4 teams at the top. They're going to get in. Okay, there's no doubt about those basketball teams getting in. But you've got your Texas, Kansas, Missouri, and A&M. They're 1s and 6s. Okay, as far as their seeds in the NCAA tournament. Then you get KSU and Baylor. They're both down to the 10s and 11s as far as seeds are concerned. The NCAA in the bracketology. So you get a situation where if 4 teams finish at 8-8, Kansas State, Baylor, Nebraska, and Colorado, Jack, I'm going to tell you, there's going to be some nervous people on Selection Sunday.
And I think the Missouri Tigers need to be sweating it too. They're 7-5 right now. They've got to play at Kansas State. They've got to play at Nebraska. They have Baylor at home this week, and then they have KU at home. They've got to get 1 or 2 wins out here. You know what happened to them last year? They went 10-6 in the conference, and then they came to Kansas City, and in the Big 12 tournament, they got stomped on by a 12 seed. I believe Nebraska was like 12 seeded that, and the NCAA dropped them down to a 10 seed, and went ahead and gave everybody else a better seed. So there is something going with this tournament. I mean, it is important.
Oh yeah, especially for those teams. Any of those teams on the bubble, you've got to win your first game at the Big 12 tournament here in Kansas City. I mean, it's going to be pretty exciting because all those teams are going to play first day. All right, all those teams basically are looking for the team looking to get into the NCAAs and try to solidify their spot in the NCAA tournament. They're going to be playing on day 1. It's going to be really exciting now.